So, in our last episode, we spoke to, well, found out that Isidore Burach, the town's local doctor, is dead. We also found out from various other sources, being the Sabarovs, that there might be a way of figuring out who done it, and thus at least be able to exact some measure of vengeance. I jest, of course. The Bachelor isn't necessarily out entirely for vengeance, but it would be handy to find a way of finding the killer. Here we have a small child skipping along. Hello, small child. Wow, that's startling. What's wrong with you? What a fucking charismatic little shit. Tell me about the tower. You don't need that. Why not? Because we won't let you in anyway. There's a secret room inside. And what's in there? Like I said, secret. Oh, suit yourself. Little shit. Right, anyway. Moving swiftly forward. This is the house of Yulia, who is a intelligent woman, engineer, a skeptic. She might be able to tell me what the hell's going on. She also designed various bits of this town, including the apiary and the abattoir. This is a shot from the inside of the abattoir. Considering this game is Russian, I think that's quite significant. There's a lot of symbolism in this game. I enjoy all of it. Hello, Yulia.
This girl is a changeling. She's not the murderer.
I seem to have lost any capacity for observation. My mind is out of tune. Things no longer add up. Before, I had no trouble forming a trustworthy tessellation out of the most imperceptible contingencies. Now, I simply can't get my head around it. Could it be that I'm dying? It happens when people are tired. You probably haven't slept for a while, have you? Oh no. Herbert Tavarini is in blossom, I grant you, but then it blooms every year. Every year the steppe is filled with its stupefying vapours. The issue I'm having, however, has nothing to do with the fatigue or perplexity. It's just that I've lost my ability to make distinctive events coincide. Everyone has that ability. You don't seem to understand what I'm saying. Let me elucidate. Single words someone utters may precipitate the birth of their own murderer. Well, this line of philosophizing is barely an intellectual novelty, and yet it is particularly relevant in our neck of the woods. I sometimes feel that I could touch the notions of cause and effect with the tips of my fingers. But now I'm being tedious, I reckon. Not at all.
There are unseen connections looking through the capricity and tenuity that the world seems to be made of.
So, you've travelled all the way here only to find that both people you wanted to see were brutally murdered? Is this how the story goes? I do hope that your visit is not in any way related to these most unfortunate circumstances. I have to find out whoever it is that killed Isidore and Simon. I wanted to ask for your help. Mr. Sabarov told me that you have a great gift for all manner of investigative inquiry. I'm certainly no better investigator than you. I've never had a chance to search for a murderer before. Best I can offer is to fill in the blanks with whatever mysterious supernatural entities seem most fitting. Shabnak Adir is the simple man's scarecrow. I would have followed a different narrative. What kind of narrative? Consider the circumstance of his death. They said Simon had locked himself up in the evening and consequently died in the morning inside the mansion in a chamber with some peculiar name. In this case, I would suggest that Simon was poisoned. By the Canes, I would have thought. I know their family all too well. Their mutual loyalty is only rivaled by their arrogance towards anyone that's not one of them. They hold the princely sage who stands at the head of their family in highest esteem. They believe that a single dishonourable act will tarnish their name for generations to come. No, I doubt any of them would have stooped to this, no matter whether they wanted to or not. But did they? Want to, I mean. In all likelihood, they did. Their respect for Simon was nothing compared to the adoration felt by the common townspeople. After all, every Cain suffers the same kind of benign insanity that leads to people pursuing their own fantasies, and little else other than that. This indulgence is something that Simon would likely stand in the way of. So you think the cause of death is poison? I don't believe you understand what he died in the focus really implies. Do you know what the canes refer to as the focus? You don't seem to grasp the semantics of the term. These are the canes for you. These are the kind of innuendos. That's their forte. Well, what is this focus then? The focus is anything but an abstraction. Quite the opposite, in fact. It is governed by mathematically rigid regularities. You see, no one but the owner of a focus may get inside. This can only mean that Simon had brought the kill in with him, or rather, within him, since no physical object may be brought into the focus either. How do you know that? Who doesn't? The Canes are notoriously passionate about all manner of synthetic anomalies. They will never pass up the opportunity to devise a Kunststück that would allow them to warp space, change physics, or manipulate optics. Metaphysically, a focus can be compared to a camera obscura. Do note that the name is not unfitting. No, it is entirely impossible for someone to get inside. And also, you're not allowed to eat or drink, for that makes one suspect foul play in regard to Isidore's death. He'd been stabbed after all. Stabbed does not even begin to describe it. Stach Rubin told Lara that Isidore was slaughtered by some object resemblant of a humongous razor-sharp talon. What a riveting case. No wonder some people will start talking of step monsters made of assorted bones. What? A claw-like object? Such was the topography of the wound, according to Rubin. Neither Lara nor me are quite able to colloquialize a term like this. You should speak with him directly if you wish to know details. Make haste if you want to get a hold of him. Reuben is eager to join Simon as soon as possible. No pun intended. Yes. Let's get back to the subject of Isidore's murder. Alright. Let me suggest then that while he was in the steppe, he saw or learned something that he wanted to report to all three of the ruling families. In this case, either the Oglimsky family should be on this itinerary, especially since Burak was one of their own men. Really? Definitely. The Bull project from the abattoir to the railway, it's all controlled by the Oglimsky family. Olgimsky family. Oh, I mispronounced. If Isidore's discovery had anything at all to do with the kin, Isidore would certainly have related to Vlad. So, do make sure to pay a visit to the Lump. That's the name of the Olgimsky mansion. Another fitting name, wouldn't you agree? Thank you, Yulia. What would I do without you? So, another journal note. I'm following in Isidore's wake, certain that the trail of his footsteps will lead me to the Crucible. There's little doubt in my mind that Isidore was well acquainted with each and every family in power. But was the Oglimsky that held Isidore's leash? A relationship rooted in unbreakable family loyalty. It's with the Olgimskys, I will continue mispronouncing that and I do apologise. It's with the Olgimskys that I must make my next destination. Onwards we travel. Fucking balls. So, the Olgimskys are south of here. That is Big Vlad's manor. He probably knows the best way of going about this. So, shall we pay the man a visit? So, the staircases to heaven. They are interesting things. One day I'll go up one and show you what happens at the top. Hello, small one. I've heard so much about you. Ooh. Why so gloomy, Pumpkin? I want Grandpa to get better. It's sad without him. Is your Grandpa sick? My Grandpa is dead. Grandpa Simon is sick. No one plays with me now. The grown-ups never let us into their games, neither do the boys. He really loved you little ones, didn't he? Loved? Why do you put it like that? He still loves us, and he always will, even the naughty ones. Sure, of course. Just a slip of the tongue. Let's see what she has to trade. She actually doesn't have very much to trade. However, the children of the town do tend to have actually a lot of useful items. Sometimes they actually carry the most insanely useful items in the game. However, these items always come at a cost. And that cost tends to be a lot of random items of junk. Let's give me a bandage. Could always do with some more. Much more effective than buying them. Who needs gold? Or, Kopecks, rubles? I genuinely don't know what the currency is going to be in this game. Or what it was supposed to be. Hello, little arrogant bastard. Hey you! Don't you mess with us. We know a thing or two about life. Why are you so bristled up? It's begun! The crushing blow to the soul and a half is being prepared. There are almost 70 dogheads. No one will escape their doom. Who are the soul and a halves and the dogheads? The soul and a halves have a soul and a half, and the dog's heads have dog heads. Well, I guess that's explanatory, isn't it? As you can see, it's a clash of ideas, a matter of principle. It's an us or them situation. There will be no mercy. You've got some fierce games. Game to some, destiny to others. I hope you avoid manslaughter. Trade me, you bastard. Nothing useful. Food shop. However, my amount of gold is probably too small to really justify more food right now, and I do have a surplus of sorts. Yeah, I'm going to carry on by. However, I am going to go bin raking. Pocket watches. They are relatively valuable, even if they are just broken. Dear oh dear. So the very small children here are important. Mainly because if I can find enough items to trade with them, I might be able to save this town. Again, I'll explain a bit more about that as the game progresses. For now, just know that no one is innocent, not even the kids, as you might have gathered from that last discussion about youth gang violence. Let's go with that. So, Big Vlad's manor. I forget if this is Big Vlad's door, or whether it's his daughter's door. Nah, it's Big Vlad's manor. His painting is of Nodong. He is an asshole, but a fairly likable one at times. So,
So my Haruspex is the Ripper? Funny.
Ah, Bachelor Dankovsky, of course. Who else could be so dapper? I've heard quite a lot about you. Are you taking a look around? Be sure to check the state of the industry around here. We have our own ways. How curious. What is the current state of your industry? Come now, it's a complicated establishment with 1,000 years of history. A special approach is required to control such a colossus. See where I'm getting at, emissary? It would be pointless to object. I can see we're not really seeing eye to eye. The project is special, very special. That means common standards do not apply here. That would be very naive. We'll come back to that.
What?
Yes, getting everything back on track won't be an easy task. I'd like to inquire about the fate of my colleague Isidore Burach, and about the manner of his death, to be precise. What are you implying? What is this manner you're talking about? Be so kind as to mind your own manners. I had nothing to do with it. Don't they say Isidore was murdered by a steppe demon, a Shabnak Adir? That was the thing, a talon they fished out from the wound, wasn't it? I can take this from kids and weirdos, but you're a respectable businessman. It's hard for you to believe, isn't it? It used to be hard for many. Take my boy, for example, a scoffer if ever I've seen one. And now even he believes it's real. He went off his head a bit. You're in the steppe now, esteemed sir, eastern and backwards. The dead rise from their graves here, clay dummies dance and bulls talk. Does he know the steppe well, this son of yours? He rubs elbows with the rabble, the butchers, the Odong, shepherds and gatherers, learns their tongue, collects their legends. He doesn't keep them in check at all. They even dare come visit him within the premises of the town. If you see a worm creeping through the streets, he is definitely looking for my son. What's wrong with them visiting in the premises of the town? They're dangerous, they're aggressive, and they hate everyone who isn't a steppe person, of course. They'll jump you and kill you on the spot. They'll tear you up with their teeth and devour your flesh whilst you're still throwing fists at them. So, if they're spotted within the town, countermeasures are taken. So what of your son? Perhaps he could tell me a bit more about this creature. Hold your horses. You want to talk to my blockhead? No, you have nothing to talk about. He's not here, thankfully. I don't want you two to meet. You heard me? These are tradesmen's words, and I'll stick to them. Well, I won't leave it at that. So, Vlad the Elder, or Big Vlad, as I'll refer to him, is not being helpful. Damn, thought I had a lead. But what's this? Is that an Adong running through the streets? I wonder where he could be running to. I ought to find out, don't you think? I also apologise for the occasional slight freezing of the screen every now and then. It's me making a quick save. I will quick save a lot because I do anticipate a lot of things could go disastrously wrong. It is now 11 AM. Ooh, time is ticking on by. I am very, very wary of it. It scares me. Well, in the meantime, fill up some water. And I'm just going to go raking these bins. I know where he's going, don't you guys worry. There he goes. I might actually let him run on for a little while. After all, remember what Big Vlad said? Oh, yep, he's after me. He's after me. Old bastard. Oh shit. Shit, shit, he's actually after me. Shit, I can't get in. There we go. Generally in this game it's better to run than fight. What's the point of killing people?
Katerina thinks Claire is a messenger from heaven. Yeah, right.
You found me here? Oh, well, I'm not surprised. Suppose you're not too surprised by the fact that everyone knows about you either. Rumor of your arrival spread like fire. Why have you come? Oh, I've come for some sightseeing. There was this peculiar incident yesterday by the spleen. The children were playing in the mud as usual, but then suddenly they ran away from the sandbox and their parents noticed that their hands were smothered in blood. However, none of them were wounded. Neither were any of them surprised. What's the solution to the puzzle? When the worried adults came to the place where the children had been playing, they found nothing unusual there, only sticks and stones. What do you make of it? Nothing special, they probably just dug out a dead cat. Nice to meet a person of a skeptical mind. I'm Vladislav of Olgimsky. Shit. I will continually mispronounce every name. I'm sorry to everyone. I am Vladislav Olgimsky, the younger one, of course. And you are, of course, Danil Dankovsky. Yes, that's me.
Where did those lazy bastards go?
Bachelor, I have some news for you that should prove to be of interest. You seem to be looking for the killer, right? I'm listening. I'll have to briefly explain a few things to you. Have you already been told what the termitary is? No, I haven't. The termitary is a huge bunkhouse where the Bull Project workers live. Although living is the wrong term for it, they nest. Their nesting as a commune, with a rather simple way of life. Could without reservation be called savage. And what is the Bull Project? It's the whole industrial system of the town, from the abattoir to the goods station. Would you care to listen as to why I wanted to see you in the first place? Very much so, please go ahead. Let's get to the point then. A case of pointless, aimless unrest has occurred in that hive mind's nest. The workers there are prone to lashing out from time to time like beasts frightened by a storm. They rage, they howl, they gnaw at one another. An unsightly image of a mass uprising. And that is exactly what's going on right there, right now, isn't it? Precisely. And why are you telling me this? Riots occurred in the termitary several times before. The mob goes crazy for a few days. Then they calm down just as unexpectedly. All of them, all at once. Sudden calm is just as void of reason as the unrest that set them off and set them all agog previous. Having had a certain experience with the kin, we simply block the entrance to the zoo off until the riot defeats itself. What is this kin? Kin is, well, It doesn't matter. It's hard to explain. Their whole so-called society, the many-headed biology. Very well, then let's get back to the subject. We usually lock them up beforehand. The evidence of an upcoming outbreak of mass lunacy becomes obvious in advance, and the termitary's Father Superior informs us of it. But Father Taichi has recently passed. A curious coincidence, don't you think? Mass anarchy? Anyway, a member of the kin managed to run off into the town whilst we were busy taking measures. You think he's the killer? I think you and I can help each other, Doctor. You are looking for the killer. I am sure it's a runaway butcher. The title of half-man suits him very nicely. The Kanes claim that Simon had not been killed by a human hand, don't they? And our family doesn't need unnecessary rest in the town. The butcher can babble devil knows what. His mind is most likely clouded with insane ideas. So you'd rather he kept mum about what's happening inside? You are correct. They barely know how to speak, but that only makes it worse. Half men, half beasts. If they start preaching, you feel as though you've countered a doomsayer. I need this butcher to disappear. Hand him over to the Kanes, or simply kill him if the beast attacks you. The reward will be hefty. Very well. I'll look into this. Where can I find him? He's most likely being harboured in a suspicious house. That's in the crude sprawl. Yes, my father is a man of a rather hard-handed disposition and quick-tempered to boot. If he finds out the crude sprawl is conceding a fugitive, he will make a mess. Pointless brutality serves no one. I'm looking for peace rather than blood, I'm telling you. I'll do my best to make sure you're right. Show me the house. Vlad the Younger is more than eager to get rid of some beast-like troublemaker. I wonder what the creature whose murder is not being considered a crime looks like. So, I now have 2 quests today. First one is still the pursuit of the children's powder. The second one is dealing with this butcher of sorts. Let's see. I wonder if we might have some more luck somewhere else. Perhaps one of the things that we can do whilst we're nearby is we can see if we can find this children's powder. The clue that we were given was that it was near this staircase here. One of the unlocked doors. Evidently not that one. Or that one. Maybe it's one of these ones. Well, we can go door checking for quite some time. But I don't think it was any of those houses. Perhaps this one. Evidently not. Perhaps it was this one. This is what the interior of the houses looks like. Rather Spartan and rather sparse. This one is abandoned, and there doesn't seem to be anything about it that I can loot. The time period is completely anachronistic, which lends it a certain... je ne sais quoi. Makes it more unnerving, I think. More dreamlike. The stoves are evidently gas stoves, and yet, and I have a pistol, and yet most of the rest of the architecture and the nature of the town and the science seems to be a different era. My personal belief is that the town is from roughly... Oh, Jesus, fuck. Hello, little asshole. Fucking dogheads, they always spook me. Maybe I'll save before taking any of the stuff just in case they get pissed off with it. Okay. I think I've stolen some more food, some more gold, some more general wares and items. So, glass of milk. Cool. A lemon. And a box of powder. That box of powder is what we were after. Let's have a chat to one of the dog heads. May I inquire as to how you found this place, sir? Investigated the murder of Simon Kane. You will answer my questions. Question 1. Who are you? We're playing here. Rehearsing, actually. Also looking for something. We need it for the game. Nothing special, just some junk. That doesn't sound too convincing. I am not a man to be trifled with, little scamp. I know everything. Yeah, well, it can't be fixed now anyway. Alright, I'll tell you. Who knows, maybe you'll even be a bit of help. The kids are in danger. We've come here to get some schmouders, but someone's already looted the cash. Maybe it was Capella's doing? She probably distributed it amongst the minions, her pagan. I don't understand a thing. How is this dangerous? The little ones are playing Epidemic again. They wanted to get their hands on the damn schmouders so very much. I'm just going to refer to them as powders because fucking hell. So now we need to catch the kids. And I mean all the little kids in town, one by one. And pry the powders from their hands. See, the common opinion is that the powders can cure all kinds of ailments and stuff, but the truth is that they're deadly. Why were they ever produced in the first place then? An adult will be severely poisoned. They'll be bedridden for a week or so, and that's it. But it will spell doom for little kids. And how are children supposed to cure themselves then? Children? All children should come to the polyhedron. They'll be safe there. You mean that odd structure next to the crucible? Please don't tell me someone's living in there. The spectacular tower on the other side of the river. There is no death, no grief, no boredom, and no disease there. It's proven for certain. Only dumbheads would leave it voluntarily, if you ask me. It would be absolutely thick and heartless creature lacking any semblance of imagination to refuse something of the sort. Alright, I get the gist. Some story emboldening, mate. Embroidering, even. Anyway. So I now have a box of the powder. Lara's going to ask me to throw it away. I won't. Because powder is very useful. Also, looting houses can sometimes be very useful. Anyway, we have to go see a butcher. There are actually 2 ways in which this particular side quest can go. Dealing with this butcher. One of them is to kill him for Vlad. And the other is to try to rescue him for Eva. Killing him will afford me gold. Rescuing him, or at least allowing him to escape, will afford me various trinkets and items. Also perhaps a nicer conversation with Eva. I think this bachelor might attempt to remain a relatively good person. Having said that, I'm also conscious that I will probably need gold through this day. So I'm going to be a bad person. And in this particular timeline, our dearest bachelor is going to go and work for Vlad. I apologize to anyone watching who is a fan of the Step and the Butchers. I will rectify this when I play as Artemy. I promise. I'll only be a heartless asshole when playing as Daniel. Because Daniel is a heartless asshole. Right. We're going to take a shortcut here over the train tracks. This is the train station of sorts, or at least it says loading area. The train station's pretty big. The concept of this town is that it's been settled on some of the traditional steppe land, nomadic steppe land. and it's being now farmed, effectively, mainly for cattle, for beef production. Those trains take cattle and beef back to the capital. And these are the factories, which are also part of the production process. A little bit unpleasant. They always spook me a little bit. Oh, the cows are moving. They are unhappy! To be fair, if I was a cow in this place, I probably also wouldn't really be all that happy either. It's not exactly a nice place for cows. Cows are pretty cool. So, on the right here is the graveyard of the town. We'll have quite some number of dealings with the graveyard as time goes by. So, I'm going to save before we enter this place. Make sure that my gun is out and loaded. Because I'm not sure that this will go very well for us. Ah, the back door is locked. I wonder what this means. Genuinely, I actually wonder what this means. I completely forgot what's going on most of the game. I think it means that we have to go and talk to whoever lives in here. Whoever keeps ragdolls of the player characters. Clara. The other one was Danko.
Why is the termitary so loud? What are they celebrating?
Do you know where to find clean water around here? You're one of the locals. I'm visiting this place for the first time, and so I know where to find water. I'm just curious if you do. What's wrong with running water? All that water comes from the steppe, and it isn't exactly clean. Yesterday I inspected all the springs in the area. There seems to be no more clean water around. That salty taste is everywhere. It's reddish in colour, and there are disgusting clots in it. Where can I find clean water then? Townsfolk store clean water in homemade reservoirs. This modest supply should be enough to help us last a little while, but afterwards we'll have to drink that bloody mixture. You're making it up.
Perhaps turning inside out will help?
What do you want, I wonder? There's a runaway hiding here. Take me to him. Why would I? I need to ask him a few questions. He's a butcher. He won't talk to you. You wouldn't understand him. He's been here for more than a day, but even I can't get him to talk. It is I who'd rather tell you something. He's dangerous. Was it Vlad the Younger that dropped a hint about a killer hiding here? That little spider. He simply respects his father and doesn't wish to wash the dirty linen of his family in public. The dirty linen? Do explain. Big Vlad has plugged the termitary up for a reason. Butcher's mumbling is all over the place, but if you listen carefully, you'll make out tales of such horrors that I get shivers all over. Thousands of people have lost their minds all at once in there. Many have died, and something is brewing inside. Fucking creepy, Ospina. Fucking hell. Can you lead the runaway out of town? Really? Why? Here, he's entertaining me. It's dangerous to go out to the steppe anyway. What if his pursuers rip me apart in the street? What if they think I'm a Shabnak Adir? What do you offer me in return for the service? Lead him out or he'll get killed. You can show me the door if you want, but thugs for hire will be less compliant. Fine. I'll take care of the butcher. He'll disappear. Consider him non-existent. But now you must leave. Don't try watching the door. You won't see anything anyway. Tell the Oglimskis' thick-head bloodhounds that they have no business here. I harbor no killers. Deal. Not gonna kill anyone today, then. I'm happy with that. I've changed my mind. Maybe I'll try and be a good person after all. There's perhaps someone else, though, that we should pay a visit to. A lady that goes by the name of Anna Angel. Wonder if she has something useful to tell us. Well, nothing in the bin. Not having a minimap in this game is very much a challenge. I like it. Knowing exactly where I am on the map at all times is, I suppose, slightly unrealistic, but at the same time you have to balance complete immersion with being a little bit too difficult and unplayable. I do like being able to pick up and leave off the game where I must. This building here is a pub. This is a bar that we will visit many times. But not today. Well, actually it looks like the pub. The actual pub is there. We haven't yet passed it. I'm just being a terrible, terrible influence and completely misinforming all of you about what's actually going on. Anyway, continuing on to the house of one Anna Angel, who may be of importance. And that, my dears, is the invisible cat.
What do you all want from us?
Oh, this is really too much. Who the hell are you? Why have you donned this dreadful outfit? My name is Daniel Dankovsky. What's wrong with my outfit? It's snakeskin. Are you a performer, a circus actor, a talent, a tamer? Tell me the truth. Calm down. I'm a scientist. A professor, do you understand? I study death. Look at you, Dankovsky, claiming to be a professor. You haven't got that yet. I thought so. I knew someone like that would pay me a visit very soon. How horrible. What's horrible? Everything. Everything's horrible. You came to, you know, after me, right? I have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Shubnak is an evil man-eater made of clay and bones. She's the murderer.
I think the wind is changing. Why are there so many outsiders in the town? Anna, I'd like to hear your honest opinion. Do you also find Simon Kane's death unnatural? No, not at all. How could someone living on, or perhaps even beyond, the edge of what's humanly possible not die? At least that's what the smart people are saying, not my ideas. So Simon loved to challenge limits and restrictions, I gather. Indeed, he loved it, and he was good at it. You could bury him underground for a couple of days, and he'd be totally fine. He was pierced with iron rods once, too. One of them broke his chest, but Simon didn't die. Tricks like these would be incredibly popular in a circus. Oh, I miss the man. So, who could have killed him? An envy it? It just occurred to me that he could have killed himself. Well, why? I don't know. There's no one else that could have done it. No one, and I mean it. Neither the biggest hater nor the most desperate beggar. I mean, in his case, suicide is a more believable conjecture than murder. Are you sure? Nobody is to blame for his death. I honestly believe that Simon was doomed. What he did was too much for a single person to handle. Feel my legs being pulled. Jesus, it's 1 PM. I genuinely thought that Anna had something more useful for me. Perhaps I've misjudged my timings. Right. Where do we go from here? Perhaps we should go and pay a visit to some of our various other companions. Whilst I decide where we're going, I shall pause this episode for now. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you anon.